Never judge a book by its cover, unless of course you are doing a US versus UK book cover comparison. First up, the very popular fantasy romance release Rose in Chains. I for sure have opinions on this one, mainly that the US is giving me young adult vibes. To be completely frank, I just don't really like the artwork on this. The female character on the front of this looks like a corpse. There is zero expression, maybe that's intentional, but it just doesn't work for me. The UK version, in my opinion, is better. It's not my favourite fantasy cover that I've ever seen. It's all very cursive, it's all very flowy, it all kind of melts into each other. And I think that's why it works, so the UK for this one. Next is another very popular new fantasy romance release, and that is Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. I truly think these are both extremely strong covers. I really love the US version. This is kind of like what I wanted the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy US covers to look like. Yet again, it is the UK fantasy covers that I think have the edge. I adore the pink of this cover. It's just as detailed, it's just as intricate, but I think it's a lot more interesting. And for that reason, I absolutely love this cover. Next up, we have The Names by Florence Knapp. I truly do not know how the UK managed to make a cover for a book that sounds extremely interesting look so insanely boring. I think this is probably one of my least favourite covers that I've ever talked about on this series. I have nothing more to say, I rest my case, I hate this. This is not my favourite cover, but I certainly find it more intriguing. This is a literary fiction, historical fiction book, and I don't know how, but I definitely get that from the US cover. Then we have Homeseeking by Carissa Chen. I think I might have the unpopular opinion because I also prefer the US version for this particular book. This looks like a lot of UK fantasy covers. Maybe it's a good thing that the UK are using a slightly more unconventional cover because this one looks a lot more conventionally like a historical fiction or a literary fiction. So it's a little bit of a tie, but genuinely for me, again, an unpopular opinion, I think the US is my favourite. Then we've got Never Ever After by Su Lin Tan. This is another one where I have an issue with both of these covers. For the UK one, I think the design is a lot more interesting. That said, there's something about this cover that really screams kids book to me. I don't know what it is. Again, I can't quite put my finger on it. On the other hand, while I think the US is a very beautiful cover, I think it's very generic. I don't think there's anything new or special that this cover is doing, but I can think of a lot more fantasy covers off the top of my head that I way prefer to this. So I do think I'm gonna have to go with the UK for this one, but I have problems with both. And then we have The Woman in Suite 11 by Ruth Ware. This is a thriller, and can you guess which one is going to be my favourite? It is of course the US version. Like many UK covers, this one is giving me absolutely nothing. This US cover in particular is one that I absolutely love. If you know what I'm talking about, this really reminds me of one of those liminal spaces videos. Those slightly eerie, slightly creepy videos of places that kind of look familiar, but there's something really off about them. This gives me exactly that. It's somewhat familiar, we're in a bathtub, but there is an unsettling and haunting quality to it. The water almost looks like the surface of the ocean. The wording is distorted. It's just a little bit more chilling, and for that reason, I of course have to go with the US.